Alright guys, Dave Genvy here, aka Satan, the devil, Lucifer. Yeah, that's me. I'm the devil, sent here by God in heaven to basically sort things out on this earth and get humanity into the stars. We've got a problem at the minute. Humanity is a worker species that are enslaved to the Greys, who are a super intelligent species with psychic powers, but they can't control me because I'm the devil, and I've got a bigger brain. I've actually got a physically bigger brain than the worker drone, the average worker drone reptilian, the average human. So much bigger. It's about 6 times bigger, I think. It's quite a bit larger. These videos are mostly for my daughter, to help her understand what's going on, because she's not controlled by these grey aliens, although the grey aliens might be able to make her feel a bit down, give her nightmares. They might be able to do that. They also another little trick they do is they try to make you piss yourself when you're asleep. That's something else they do. So Holly needs to be aware of that. My daughter needs to be aware of these aliens and what they can do with their psychic powers. Like I say, you know, keep her spirits up. That's what she needs to do. She just needs to stay cheerful with it. She can't ask other people much about this because they're controlled by the aliens. Now, what did I get wrong in my last video? I got a couple of things wrong. So Holly, I was saying, I think eventually you're going to have to come live with me. I'm not fully sure on that, but I think you are. When these oil prices skyrocket, I'm going to show you that's beginning to happen now. But anyway, I think you might have to come live with me, and then eventually we're going to have to go to America. And I was saying, I think we're going to be able to fly there. At first I was saying we're going to have to sail there. Now I'm thinking we're going to have to sail there. I'm not fully sure, but I think we're going to have to sail there because we can't take the risk of flying, because these aliens do actually want me dead. The aliens have to work with humanity because they can't do fighting themselves. They can do psychic fighting, although I don't think they're that good at that. But it works on the worker drones. So they have to work with us, but they don't really want to work with me. I don't really know, like, if they would kill us on that plane over to America, but it's very possible they might. So we're probably going to have to sail, and we're going to need a support ship. We're going to need a boat. We're going to sail on a boat, and we're going to need at least another 1 or 2 boats that are sailing with us, that in case anything happens to the main boat we're on, we can get onto the support ship. It's that serious. What else was I wrong on last week? So I said multiple sclerosis and meningitis are 2 diseases caused by the psychic attack for the aliens that are the same disease. I got that bit wrong. I think they are caused by the psychic attack of the aliens. Both diseases are caused by psychic attack of the aliens, but they're 2 different psychic attacks and 2 different types of diseases from psychic attacks. So meningitis is more like sepsis, blood poisoning, and it can cause you to end up having amputated limbs, and it can kill you. And then multiple sclerosis is a psychic attack that attacks the spinal cord, and then that damages your ability to walk. But I think I'm immune to that. I don't think I can get that, and I don't think Holly can either. I think with this, it's something a bit sad to say. I think the aliens, the adult aliens, train the young kid aliens, how to do these psychic attacks, and they'll pick on little kids. So it's often little kids who get meningitis, and it's like training them how to do psychic attack, how to keep humanity enslaved with psychic warfare. A lot of warfare in the stars is psychic fighting. It's not just physical fighting, and that's why, as a species, humanity, because humanity's got this tiny little brain. I showed talked about that in my last episode. Humanity's just not cut out for psychic warfare at all, really. The brain's just too small, too simple and small. So my brain's really important, but obviously the Greys don't want me interacting with anyone, because otherwise I'm going to make more kids like Holly who've got this big brain that can't be easily psychic whipped by the alien. The alien can't control me. The problem the alien doesn't realise is their psychic powers aren't that great in the grand scheme of things. The universe is huge, and you can't have a warrior caste that's any good, that's controlled easily by the psychic powers of the Greys. So the Greys just need to get a grip on that and know their place. Their place is to do the tech, design technology. But you know, I've got this electric heater, right? It's Grey's job to design that. I've got a dehumidifier back there. It's Grey's job to design that dehumidifier. Just to do mundane tech. And then the worker drone, reptilian, the average human, just bolt it all together. And it's my job as the warrior caste, and my sons predominantly, to do the fighting, soldiering. Possibly you can have women on the battlefield as well, like Holly. Although she might not want to do that. She's only a little kid at the minute. The other thing I need to say to Holly is, what I've been talking about, oil prices going up for ages, and Holly probably thinks, well, when's it happening? It's beginning to happen now. So the price of a barrel of oil is only about 60, 70 bucks a barrel at the minute. It's actually really quite cheap. The price of a barrel of oil. I'm an oil investor, and that's the price. You can check that if you go on to my phone. Hang on. Go onto my phone. Yeah, the price has been the same. Here's Brent, the price of Brent. It's been the same for a few years. And it's around 60, 70 bucks a barrel. You can check that on Google. I can put current price of Brent oil. I can put on Google. It's probably the best place to check it. Current price barrel of, let's put oil, barrel of oil. And then it's about 63 bucks for Brent crude. It's a type of oil. 58 for WTI. Now what's happening? The alien's trying to keep the price down of oil, even though it's running out of oil. There's more oil under the salt flats. You drill the salt flats. But the alien, I do think, is actually under pressure from an alien empire. I've talked about that on and off. Is it under pressure from an empire or not? I think it is. Alien empires that are out there that might destroy the Greys and destroy humanity. So it's like they've only got so much time to play with. If we start drilling the salt flats, humanity's got loads of oil for ages then. We ain't got that time to play with. The Greys need to find a warrior now out of humanity. That's why I'm here. Satan, the devil, the guy who runs hell, sent by God, here to be the warrior for humanity. You got to make more of me though, by me having more sons and daughters as well. So the price of the price of barrel oil's been kept quite cheap. Why? Because Dave Genvis invested in crude oil. They don't want me making a lot of money. Also, they've got to have this situation where when they do have oil prices go through the roof, they've got to be so expensive your average person can't afford to buy in. So it needs to be a massive jump from a low oil price to a really high oil price. But if you actually notice at the diesel pump, and Holly can ask her mum about this. Holly can ask her mum about this. If you actually ask your mum, Holly, are petrol prices and diesel prices high at the minute? Yes, they are very high. The price of diesel, the price of petrol, really high at the moment. in comparison to how cheap a barrel of oil is, barrel of oil is really cheap at the minute. So why are the petrol prices so high? Why are the diesel prices so high at the petrol station? And Holly can check with the mum. Now mum will confirm that they are really quite high at the minute because they're running out. And the other thing that's happening a lot, Holly, I've gone on Google News. So on Google News, so you go on Google, you click on News, and I've typed in flights cancellations, right? Now if you go on the first page, it goes on about this Ethiopian volcano, cancelled flights. But if you go past that, you go onto the second page, disruption across Europe as major airports cancel over half of incoming flights. 24 hours ago that was. Major European airports cancel all departure flights tomorrow, affecting UK travellers. And this is going on all over the world. Over 40 flight cancellations across Asia and Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam. Flights cancelled and trains cut as Belgium hit by nationwide strikes. It's Belgium. So at the moment there's been loads of flights cancelled. There was recently a government shutdown in the US that led to a load of cancelled flights. But the reason there's actually been a load of cancelled flights, obviously aeroplanes, the jet engine runs on oil, kerosene. It runs on kerosene, which comes from crude oil. So the oil's running out. So that's why a lot of flights are getting cancelled. The oil's running out unless we start drilling the salt flats. And the airports don't have any fuel to put into the planes. So gradually the economy is beginning to shut down now. It's only happening very slowly at first, but this whole global economy runs on oil, and it is beginning to happen. Holly can go on Google, put flight cancellations in. She'll see a little media story at first about this volcano, but if she goes a few pages on, she'll learn that, oh, it isn't just about a volcano. There's flights being cancelled all over the world. So again, I'm just trying to prove to Holly that this is happening. I thought the prices might skyrocket before Christmas. I don't think it's going to happen as soon as that now. But it is beginning to happen. You see it at the petrol pump, at the petrol station. Prices are really high, yet the price of a barrel of oil is cheap. That doesn't make sense. And we're also seeing it at the airports where a lot of flights are getting cancelled. It's happening in the US, it's happening in Europe, it's happening in Asia. Happening all over the world, and then they're trying to blame it on this volcano that's erupted in Ethiopia. It's just nonsense, and that doesn't affect the whole world. And they're putting it down to strikes, staffing problems, no air traffic controllers. They're putting it down to a load of stupid reasons. The real reason is there's not enough kerosene, oil. There's not enough oil for the jets to fly. So that is happening now, Holly. But your mum, because she's psychic whipped by the alien, and so's your granddad and your uncle Martin and Barbara, they can't put their money into crude oil because the alien won't allow them. They're controlled by the alien. It's utterly bizarre because they've got this small brain. They've only got this small brain at the back of their head. Most of their head's hollow. Believe it or not, it's hard to believe, but I showed you that Scotty Kramer video where he's got no brain. Like, he's had surgery to have his front of his forehead removed, and there's no brain there. He's just got this little small brain at the back. So, you know, Holly needs to realise she's really quite special, quite unique, and so am I. And we're the warrior cast. Like I said, it's most of my sons that are supposed to do the soldiering. I think what Holly will be doing is just having kids with other worker drone reptilian men. She'll have like, you know, a handful of kids maybe. With to save the worker drone reptilian man's genetics, because their genetics might be important. What I mean is, I'm not particularly good at running, whereas other men are. You know, black dudes are really good at running, so you know, need to try to keep their genetics, try and improve their genetics really, to give them. You know, they keep the running genetics, but then they also get this bigger brain. So you know that helps them a lot. So that's what Holly might be here to do, have kids really. But I haven't been able to have any sons yet. And Holly, this is hard to believe, it's real, but it's happening. This is real. I'm not being locked up. No one's put me in a nut house, mental hospital. No one's. No police are coming here anymore. They've stopped coming. That was the alien. The alien was psychic whipping the police to come here to bother me all the time. But I think the alien's given up on that strategy now because it just wasn't working. Because all I was doing, in the end, was I was just saying, all right, then let's go. And the police would arrest me. I'd go in their police car to the police station. And then I'd go to court, and then they'd just let me out. And that's it, I'll just go home. But I'd only be in the cell for a very short while because I haven't actually committed any crimes. It's like I'm not actually doing any crime. All I do, you know, I just sit in this house and I mind my own business. I go to the shops to get my food and that's it, I mind my own business. I don't cause any trouble. So why the police were coming around again and again, they were being psychic whipped to. And you know, the alien was causing some trouble with my neighbour and this dog that was barking. The alien was psychic whipping the dog to keep barking. I was shouting at the dog, and that's why the police had come round. This alien's a little idiot. The alien's a stupid little twat of an alien who doesn't realise that without me, they can't do anything in the stars. The worker drones, what humanity are just too easily controlled by psychic powers to be any use in the stars at fighting. They're here to do worker jobs. So that's just the truth of it, Grays. Don't want to accept it. It really annoys me. So yeah, what else we got to talk about? So Holly might ask, well, in terms of time frames, when's the oil price going to skyrocket? I'm not sure. I just don't know. I thought it would have happened by now. I think it's happening fairly soon. Maybe in the new year. After Christmas. These flight cancellations show that it's beginning to happen. But I can't really give you a time frame. I think the aliens want to drag it out for a while yet. The other thing I wanted to talk about, this is out of interest to people. The Greys do all our technology. They try and mislead us on how technology works. The diesel engine and the petrol engine, are they different? Supposedly, the diesel engine uses air compression of air to light fuel. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think, and then in the petrol engine, it uses a spark plug. Spark created by the spark plug to light the fuel. So that's petrol engine. As it is, I think the two are the same. The diesel engine and the petrol engine are actually very similar in the sense of one has spark plugs, one has glow plugs, and those do the same thing. The glow plug is the spark plug. A spark plug is a glow plug. The glow plug creates a spark, lights the diesel fuel, and then you get an explosion in the cylinder chamber, whatever, that moves, that turns the crankshaft. And that's it. You've got rotational movement for the wheels. So this idea that diesel engines are different to petrol engines, they're not. It's just the diesel engine uses a thicker fuel. So the diesel engine uses a thicker fuel in diesel. It's a thicker oil than petrol, which means it's got more it can go for longer, but because it's thicker, it's not as explosive. Like the petrol is thinner, so it's more explosive, so it's faster. You've got faster acceleration with a petrol engine, whereas with a diesel engine, because it's the thicker fuel, it's like it's not as explosive. It doesn't light on fire as explosively, but because it's thicker, it will go for longer. It's like you can light it for longer, and you can go for longer distances, and that's why diesel's more used for commercial vehicles like vans, trucks, shipping boats and stuff like that. Whereas petrol is used more for stuff like racing cars and things like that. And also cars that maybe small cars you just want to nip around town with. You've got nice fast acceleration. That's the only difference. But it's not the diesel engine. I don't think is using air compression to light the fuel. I don't think that's happening. You need a spark, I think, for a glow plug. Now I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So that's something that might be interesting to people. Probably not interesting to Holly, but it might be interesting to some other people out there. And yeah, I think that'll do. I think that'll do for the video. That's the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one.